What is up? What is up? What is up? We are live here on YouTube. What's up, everybody? DH and Scott here. We are live, like I said, over here on YouTube, ready to episode 202. What's up, Scotty boy? Before we get started,
I don't know
how's everything going?
what's down, Drew. I'm sick of asking people what's up. I'm
Yeah,
sick of it. I'm gonna
what's
start.
down?
Hey, what's down?
There you go.
And
Like
let's see
it.
if that sticks.
I like it.
Nah,
Well,
man. My legs are still sore from the weekend.
yeah.
Had a massive tournament over the weekend, and I don't know if you saw the post I threw up on my personal Facebook page, but one of my counterparts posted his fitness tracker data
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Saturday, and I have Sundays too. And in 7 games, like 49,000 steps, ran 19.6 or 0.2 miles or something like that. Those that don't understand, plus you're doing all that running, plus you're keeping an eye on the game and making sure. So it's like, dude, like
you don't know till you've done it. You don't know till
exactly.
All right.
Yeah, it was good. So
good deal. Good deal. Well, welcome everybody. For those of you that do join the show live on YouTube, or if you're watching this recorded after the show is over, every single week we do record the show live, uncut, unfiltered, with some bonus footage, and of course your questions and comments. So please leave those questions and comments down below, and we will get to them either during the break or at the end of the show. But with that being said, Scotty boy, you about ready to kick it off officially for those that are listening on audio?
Yeah, let's get the audio section started, and then we'll get everything rolling.
All right. What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 202 of Let Me Get That Potograph. My name, of course, is Drew, or the DH, and joining me, my awesome co-host, Mr. Scott Rappaport. What's up, dude? Happy belated referees day.
Hey, thank you. I was waiting for somebody to do that. So normally we do this on Wednesdays. Today we're doing Thursday because I was off celebrating International Referee Appreciation Day. And for those of you that did not celebrate International Referee Appreciation Day yesterday, here is your straight red card.
You had it ready.
Damn right I did. I'm not even you're not even getting a yellow on this one. You were getting a straight red, and that is the end of it.
Well, happy belated Referees Day. But yes, guys, we are recording on a Thursday instead of a normal Wednesday. Thanks to everyone tuning in live on YouTube. Reminder, you can always watch us live on YouTube as we record the show and interact with the show. And we'll talk with you guys during the comments and or during the break and at the end of the show. But Scotty boy, let's dive right into this week's show. And another week, another letter. Tops sending out another letter, and we'll kind of segue this into an entire segment. But Tops updates coming out. One of the flagship big releases of the baseball season. Of course, we're deep into the playoffs right now. But update is out, and update's coming out, and already there's collectors and dealers that are up in arms, and really a lot of people that are pissed because they advertise 24 packs per box, 14 cards per pack, and then
which I will say has been the standard configuration for years.
Ages, yeah.
And this is, by the way, we're talking hobby boxes here. We're not talking jumbos. We're not talking
regular hobby. Yes, hobby boxes. Well, they came out with the official number when they sent out the final info, and it's 20 cards and 12 cards. So 96.
20 packs. 20
packs, 12 cards per pack. So 96 cards less per box than were advertised, and like you said, is the norm. Now, Topps sent out a letter saying that, basically saying, we said this, but hey, you're getting that, but hey, your odds of pulling special cards increases because there's the same number of inserts and the same number of parallels. So basically, we're sorry, but suck it. And that
Well,
was
but
their
there's
response.
really not the same number of inserts, because if they're shorting it 4 packs, you're
Yep.
shorting it, 4 to 6 inserts for every box.
Yep.
You are, though, increasing the odds per pack on, if they're not shorting the golds and they're not shorting the rainbow foils and the other colors and, things like that. They are increasing the odds if you're a single pack buyer. If you walk into a hobby shop that does sell single
Right.
packs,
But
you've increased your odds of getting something.
okay, good. But but see, this is the thing. Update is big for set collectors. It's very big for it's a
Yep.
very big set building set builder set. It's a very big collector set. There's a
Yep.
die hard, it's a flagship product, just like Series 1, Series 2, any of that. But Update in particular always has a massive like collector base. They don't give a shit about pulling a super taco lava fractor out of of
Oh,
the
yeah.
Arizona Diamondbacks in a pack of cards. They just don't, and most collectors don't. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's where like the letter that Top sent out, I thought was pathetic. I thought it was stupid because you're basically, which we're going to talk about that Top's letter and other things later on in the show. But the letter basically was just saying, yeah, we misled you, but hey, you might be able to pull these. So there you go. And
Yep.
I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like it.
No, exactly. And I'm not a huge fan of that. And here's the thing. This is another one of those things that they should have known. They
Right.
should have, gone through and, from the get-go, come out and said, hey, this year we're doing 20 packs with 12 cards instead of 24 and 14.
Yeah,
And
they advertised that they were
yes,
doing 24 and 14. Like,
yeah, this was not something that was a screw up. This was something that was done, that was planned. It was from the beginning. Now, I don't
yeah,
think screwing up on on their marketing for it prior to that was
right.
planned. I think that was the screw up. But it's one of those things, and frankly, like I'm going through the list of rookies, because obviously Update rookies are, the big draw for a lot of this, between the
Yes,
color and the, some autos and things like that.
absolutely.
And I'm looking like I see Jeter Downs on
Yeah.
there. I see Miguel Amaya. He's the only one that but again, that's not one that everybody's going to be getting excited about and chasing. That's just me.
No, it's not a
As
super strong
no,
update,
no, it's not as strong.
but
Now it's better. I will say it's better than 2020.
yes. Yeah.
It's probably better than 2021.
Yeah.
Looking
I
through
would
this,
agree with that.
yeah.
And we do
JJ,
get to
yeah,
see, I mean, I'm excited to see some things in Update. Like we're about to finally see the debut. Sorry, I can't get this chair comfortable, squeaky chair here.
yeah,
But we're about to see the debut of the MLB patches that are going to be coming out in Update. Those
yep,
exclusive 101s. There's a lot of cool stuff in here, but it's just one of those things, man. Like another screw up, and yet your response
yeah,
to it is just, hey, you have a better chance of pulling this,
yeah.
and nothing's going to change. You're just missing 96 base cards. Well, some of those base cards could be valuable in the future.
No,
Some
exactly.
people, and also the people that are really pissed about this are the people that pre-ordered it. Obviously,
Right.
you're setting up. You sold this product with misleading information, and
Yeah.
your response was weak at best. And I'm really tired of seeing these stupid standalone, same formatted Topps apology letters that are non-apologies, and we don't need this stuff. Like, we talked about accountability, and we have for a couple weeks in the hobby from episode 200 with Tracy and all that. But yes, okay, great. They're taking accountability, kind of, but they're not doing it. It's still not what we need. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
it's getting a little better. They're addressing things at least. Well, not all things. We'll get to that later, but they're addressing things somewhat. But they need to step it up. But how this happens to begin with is just baffling to me.
It
And
is
how they didn't
absolutely
change it
baffling.
like immediately. How does no one on that website look at the configuration. You have multiple people that are going to be looking at this. I work in marketing. I've worked at corporate level companies like Lowe's. When stuff like that comes out, multiple eyes hit that stuff.
Oh yeah.
Nobody saw this and said, oh, wait, or no one changed it. You just waited until you threw the information out at people to say, oh, yeah, hey, we're going to fuck you by 96 cards.
Yeah. It's, I mean, maybe that means that they short printed it compared to previous years. I mean, that would be a positive.
That would be a positive.
That would be a positive. And I do like the fact that they put in, there's an 8-card, insert set. I'll call them inserts, but they're really not. They're called the base series 2 Luke the Cardist art set checklist.
Yeah.
One in every 385,130 hobby packs.
Yeah.
Now I do think it's cool that they're throwing in, throwing a bone to some of the art guys. I'd love to see Card Killer do a set,
Card Killer, Card
Series
Carver,
1, Series 2 next year, something like that. Yeah.
Card Carver and Killer need to be in there for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. I'd love to see? I'd love to see Topps do a reprint series card size of, some of Tim Carroll's pieces.
Oh, that would be
awesome. Especially ones that were, were done as past Topps cards. That would be cool.
Yeah.
But
there is some neat new stuff in it, right? Yeah.
But this is a screw up. This is a big screw up.
And you don't change the price. You leave the price the same. You force dealers and everyone with their new policies and the way they're selling things. You're forcing breakers. You're forcing LCS owners and all these people to buy this product no matter what, and buy it in mass quantity. Otherwise, basically, you're fucked. Let's be honest. That's how this system's going right now. And you're and the whole time for months, you're giving them misled information. I just don't like it at all. And the apology is so stupid. And when you have to make I worked in public relations too. And one thing we were always taught is if you had to make an excuse in an apology, you should not put it out.
Nope.
And they had to put it. I mean, that's like a golden rule. If you have to throw in an excuse and defend reasoning and stuff like this in an apology, you should not be putting it out. And that's what Topps did with this. Oh, you can pull the green fucking Lava Taco Super Mega Fractor easier. Like that, it's just stupid.
Yeah, I would agree. They, all that is really just an excuse. Yeah. They should have just come out and said, hey, we're sorry. Our marketing department screwed up. We didn't communicate.
Lower the price some.
Yeah. So somewhere along the lines, nobody in the printing department. I'm not talking about the department that prints the cards. I'm talking about the department that prints the boxes.
Yeah.
Because the number of packs in each box is listed. It's printed on the freaking box.
Yeah.
So it's not even it's not even
multiple places.
Exactly. So nobody caught that.
I know. It's ridiculous, and it's more screw ups that just don't need to be happening. But look at who's running this stuff, and we've seen these mistakes for a long time now. It's just now we're getting stupid bullshit apologies, and that's supposed to make us feel better. That's not what it is. Those prices need to be changed. Those dealers, those breakers, the people that they're forcing to buy this in bulk need to be compensated in some way, shape, or form for this, because they're advertising it to their clientele as well.
Yep.
So and so it makes them look bad. You need to compensate those people for misleading them for months and forcing them to buy a product that you didn't drop the price on when you're shorting people 96 cards, and just a stupid apology. But anyway,
and hopefully, again, because the especially the shops that pre-sold and things like that using the 24 packs, 14 cards. Hopefully their customers realize that it's not, when they get the 20-pack, 12-card boxes, hopefully they realize that, hey, this is not on the shop.
Yes.
That advertise this. This is on Panini or Fanatics, and it's on Topps. And, they were just advertising what information that Topps gave them,
exactly.
For the product, for the pre-sale.
Yep.
So anybody, getting on the card shops, for not.
Yeah. That's
For not
why I brought it up here.
Your anger is misplaced.
Yes.
Treat the guys that own the card shops and that work in the card shops, especially, better than that, because it's not on them. If you're gonna be mad at somebody, be mad at Topps, be mad at Fanatics, and that's I mean, we're just gonna leave it at that, because there's no
exactly.
Yeah, let's leave the card shops out of it. It's not their fault.
Yes. All right. Well, guys, we do have a lot of people watching live on YouTube. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to leave your questions or comments in the comment section here, and we will get to them on the break or at the end of the show. But Scott, let's move on now to it's the start of hockey season, bro.
I know, and you'll notice I'm wearing one of my Blackhawks hats.
I see
today.
It's
those
disgusting.
of you on YouTube can see it. Yeah, it's an
hideous,
older one.
but
It's a great hat. But I will say, the Blackhawks opened the NHL season as one of the 3 games against the Penguins, and then they had to play the next night, last night, up in Boston. So they're starting the season with 2 games and 2 nights. And Drew's play. Is that a Patrick Waugh helmet?
It is a Patrick.
Okay, all right. I got respect for that. I love Patrick Waugh.
Yes.
So I want to talk about Connor Bedard.
Okay. All right.
Because we saw it's been a little while since we've seen a generational player come along in hockey.
Yeah.
In fact, it's been since 2015. The
McDavid.
15 season with Connor McDavid, and you saw all of the hockey products going nuts.
Yep.
And after watching Bedard play for 2 games, I can tell you with 100% confidence this kid is the real deal.
Yes,
very
real
deal.
So.
I'm not too thrilled about the assist he got against the Penguins. Again, it was kind of nothing special.
I agree.
But his goal last night, was absolutely amazing. It shows he can think on his feet. It shows he knows where to be and when to be there, and what to do and not to do with the puck.
No, his ice awareness is absurd.
Yeah, his hockey IQ is through the roof.
Way beyond his years in his in the mental aspect of the game. Like, phenomenal. I mean, he's absolutely phenomenal. I love the kid.
So here's how good he is. So he's got 1 NHL card right now. It is a redemption.
Yep.
From what I've heard, and it comes out of the Upper Deck Tim Hortons packs.
Tim Hortons set. Yep.
Which I love. I love that they do this every year.
Mm-hmm.
Those are selling for like $1,300.
Yeah.
Right now, they're not even autographed.
Nope. No, his young gun is going to start out at probably $1,500 to $2,000.
I don't know if it's going to go that high.
Graded.
Yeah,
Graded.
Great. But I'm just trying to straight up talk about raw, and I'm seeing $400 to $500 raw.
Easily, dude. Easily. The hockey market in general has been going up. Hockey and wrestling have been 2 of the markets that have actually have had steady growth in the last 6 to 8 months. Now, like, I love what I see from Bedard. I think he's going to be an amazing player.
Yeah.
I think that he's going to be good for the hockey market. That's where I'm focusing.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. So obviously he's not going to have a young gun until Series 2.
Yeah. Yeah, so, no, it won't be in Series 1.
And now they will only allocate, for shops that order the product, they will only allocate as much Series 2 as you ordered of Series 1.
Yep.
So you're going to see a flooded market with Series 1, which I don't think is going to have anybody notable in there.
I mean, there's a couple of guys that have started out slow, but I think they have the potential to be good. But you're going to have a lot more of those young guns, at least if you're talking in terms of value. You're going to have a lot more of those $5 to $15 young guns as opposed to the $50, $100
Exactly.
I mean? Like, that's.
But I still think it's going to sit on shelves for a while, and I think the shops are going to sell it at a loss just because they want their hands on Series 2. But typically, the flagship product will typically come out anywhere between $75 and $100 a box.
Right.
And what do you think Series 2 is going to wind up popping at? I'm thinking it's going to be right around that $200 mark.
Well, if Upper Deck is smart, they don't up it a lot.
No. I'm not talking about, but Upper Deck doesn't control the pricing. It's the shops. It's the
yes.
market.
Okay.
So they're not going to
with Upper Deck. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I see it around. I see those boxes. I don't think they go 200 being flagship. I think they go probably around 150 to 175, I would say.
Which is still, $100 increase.
It's a massive increase, but that's where I'd expect to see it at.
Yeah. And it's one of those things. And now normally I don't, we don't address questions and comments during the recorded portion. We wait for that. But I kind of want to touch on this because there's a comment in the chat, which we will address a little bit further during the break. He's played 2 games. Let's slow down the Hall of Fame induction. Get back to me when he has Crosby's numbers in cups and ask McDavid about winning a cup. Yes, but it's often the same guy who just seems salty that his team didn't get the number 1 draft pick.
No, I don't think that's what it is. But I think I think it's a misunderstanding. We can talk all day about how we see great things from Bedard. But we're talking about the sample size we have. But what we're talking about is the effect on the hobby.
Correct.
It's not him and saying that he's going to be the savior of the world and the next, greatest of all time, Wayne Gretzky, all this type of stuff. But when it comes to a hobby impact, there has been no one like him, like we said at the beginning, since Connor McDavid.
Correct.
And so far, he's the only person that's been able to start out playing well to keep up that hype. A lot of those guys struggled at the beginning. The guys that were supposed to take off struggled at the beginning, then caught on, and the hype died down. And so the market never really came back, and the hype never grew, and it never really got to sustain itself.
And prior to McDavid, with the 05-06 season where you had both Crosby and Ovechkin, and they debuted in the same year just because of the lockout in the canceled season. Yeah. So that was you would have had 2 years in a row with, potentially generational players.
Yes.
With that, but they both came up. But prior to the 2 of them, you really didn't see anything. I mean, I'm looking back to like 92 with Eric Lindros, or maybe it was at 91.
91.
But that's, but people were going crazy for his stuff at the time too. Obviously he didn't pan out. No, he's still a Hall of Famer, but he didn't pan out the way that, people had thought he was going to.
Yeah.
And prior to him, you had to go back a bunch of years to Mario Lemieux.
Yep.
And, we're not going to, this is one of those things where if Bedard pans out, like people thought he would, then this is one of those things we're probably, 8 to 10 years.
We're looking at a big year in the hobby for hockey.
Yeah. But we're also 8 to 10 years away from seeing another guy like him.
Yeah, exactly. And there are some other guys right now that are getting some major love. Like I said, that hockey market is really strong as we wrap this up. But like Jack Hughes, for example, his Young Guns in the past month is up 21%.
Yeah. Forget about him. Here's a guy who didn't get he got some love when he was a rookie, but didn't get a ton until recently. Right. Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah.
His stuff is going for ridiculous money, but it wasn't at the time the product came out.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's going to be fun, and it is going to be one of those years where you're going to see a lot of people that don't dabble in hockey. You're going to see a lot of hockey breaks from people that don't normally do breaks. I think the Bedard effect is going to be like the McDavid effect, and it's going to be. It might take a little longer, but if Bedard keeps up how he's playing and shows that he's the real deal too. Hockey collectors and the hockey collectors as a whole, then it's going to get out. I don't think people in the hobby are necessarily going to tune in to watch, but I think they're going to tune in to the cards, with the chance to make the money and all of that on the table.
Well, but I'm curious, and we'll have to explore this in a future episode. How much does collecting actually translate to additional eyes
Yeah.
on the games themselves?
Yeah.
Because that is a
What they
curious
do.
topic, and we'll explore that later.
We'll do that on a panel show. We'll have a panel show. We'll get a good group of people on, because that's one that I'd like to discuss with some other industry people, like maybe get Tracy and a couple other people on, and that have firsthand, knowledge on some of those analytics, and may be able to even get some people on that have them in hand.
Yeah.
Who knows?
No, that makes sense.
But yeah, so no matter what, people are definitely going to be ponying up quite a bit of money for Bedard Young Guns in Series 2, and probably quite a bit of money for the boxes in general.
Yeah. Speaking of money.
Yep.
I need to start saving up for those Series 2 boxes.
Me too.
So we're going to take a break, get some money, and we'll be right back.
There you go. What's up, everybody tuning in live on YouTube? Thank you guys so much for joining the show. This, of course, is when we like to answer some questions, talk to you guys for a little bit. Leave your comments there if this is your first time watching live.
Yep.
Always feel free to leave your comments in during the show. We are paying attention to them, and we'll address them at the end of the show or during the break whenever they are in. It's not that we're ignoring you, it's just we're doing, the live version of the recording. But if we get comments like today, we will address them occasionally on the show as well. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to the live show.
Yep. And Jim, who made the comments that we referenced earlier, Nail Yakupov was selling for thousands of dollars also. Yeah, and that is absolutely true.
Yep.
I mean, his young gun wasn't selling for thousands.
No.
I think it topped out at like $100 or something like that.
Yeah.
But no, you're absolutely right. And he's one of those guys that did not pan out from a hobby standpoint. So, it's very possible that, everything could come down like that. Now, Yakupov was also an interesting one because he was kind of the top chase card out of that dual rookie class in 14-15 that was created because of the lockout the year before. So there was a bunch of guys that, that popped up. I want to say there was a couple other guys that were in that were, I'm just drawing a blank on it, that were, big chases, and it just didn't happen. And, I'm hoping Bedard lives up to the hype. I really am.
Yep.
Especially as a Blackhawks fan, for my entire life.
Well,
through the good, the bad, the really, really ugly.
Well, I wanted to pan out just because I like hockey, and it's good for the game when there's great people playing hockey. So
no, that is true.
I couldn't give a shit. I mean, even if it makes it harder for my Abs to win a cup, which I think will win another one this year, I don't care if there's more good players in the game. That's what I want. So
yeah. No, honestly, I would love to, as much as I want to see the Blackhawks, win many more cups, especially during my lifetime. The more quality players that we have, on the ice, the better the competition is.
The better the hobby is.
Yeah, the better the hobby is, and that's really something that is kind of important to everybody. But I think
especially as it relates to this show.
And frankly, I think nobody's more excited about Connor Bedard coming up than the guys at Upper Deck.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. Big time.
Yeah. This is one of those, like, because there's been rumors about Upper Deck struggling financially for years, and
I did forget to mention live on the air before we left, but we'll do real fast. I don't want to hop back into the show, but in 2024 golf, they're doing a regular flagship golf set this year. They're actually including Young Guns in golf. So Young Guns is going to be coming to the golf sets as well now, men's and women's. Now, how many rookies, are you really going to have each year?
Yeah.
Matter? Not too many. I think on the women's tour, a lot more than the men. But it's cool that, this seems to be the year that Upper Deck's kind of diving into golf a lot more. They kind of eased their way into it for a couple of years, and now they're hammering stuff out this year. I like seeing something like Young Guns headed to golf. I think it's a good idea. So I do like seeing that in it.
Yeah, I think they're, and I don't know if they're going to be including the live golf people in that set or not, but
I don't know. It's a good
I
question.
hope they, honestly, I hope they do, because there's a lot of
With the
great
new
players.
partnership, they may.
Yeah,
With the partnership, they may. Had they remained separated, I don't think so. With the new partnership, it may be possible now.
yeah, because there's a lot of guys that moved over to live that,
Right.
were the guys that sold the
Yeah.
previous golf products.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, they've still got Tiger. They've got people like they've got all the big guys. They've got what they need to sell.
yeah, exactly. Although it would be cool to see a dual auto, and this would be mixing sports, but do a dual auto Dustin Johnson, Wayne Gretzky.
There you go.
Since
There you
Gretzky
go.
is exclusive with Upper Deck and Dustin Johnson is obviously his son-in-law. That would be a cool thing to see.
Yep. All right. Well, you ready to dive back into the show?
Yeah, let's dive back in.
I'll let you bring us back.
All right. And we're back. Thanks for putting up with all that crap. And for those of you watching on YouTube, thanks for putting up with, the questions.
The other crap. Yeah.
The other crap. So we have something, I don't want to say big. It's not big. It's something that's been going on for a while. We're talking about a new revised lawsuit.
Yes. Panini's lawsuit.
And I got to get this out here because this is a big one. We've been unpacking it over the past couple of days, and it's a 96
page update to their lawsuit at Fanatics. Now, I want to preface this by saying, if this was me, I know you had to get a countersuit in there quick, but I would have included some of these things in a lot earlier instead of in this update. But this 96 page update it's insane, and we're going to unpack it here as much we can, guys, because there's a lot of stuff in here. Fanatics took a lot of shots before. Panini's firing back, and they fired back hard with this one.
Yeah, they're accusing Fanatics when they stole 36 employees that were hired away earlier this year.
Over the weekend at the Mint is when this happened.
Yep. And they are accusing, and this is a quote, "With the aid and encouragement of Fanatics, these employees stole Panini's trade secrets and helped Fanatics recruit other employees away from Panini, each in violation of their employment contracts with Panini, specifically the proprietary information and non-solicitation provisions." Those are actually two areas of employment contracts that are heavily enforceable.
Yes.
The non-compete clauses, those typically aren't, but non-solicitation and the trade secrets clauses, those are absolutely enforceable.
Yeah.
So additionally from that, the rated employees, and this is a quote again, the rated employees are mostly surplus to Fanatics' staffing needs until at least 2025 or 2026, unless Fanatics plan to or manages to shut down Panini's NFL and NBA operations before then. Now, here's what I don't get. So later on, Panini also accused Fanatics of, luring these employees with ridiculously high salaries.
Yes.
Compared with it. So here's my question.
Okay.
How do they know what salaries they were offered?
Well, all right. Let's be honest here. This hobby is so freaking transparent when you get to know the people. Like, once you know the right people in the industry, you can find out anything. Everyone talks to everyone. I'm going to tell you right now, I have no doubt in my mind. I mean, a lot of these people that left, keep in mind, they had a lot of friends over there still. And a lot of these people that stayed were given these same offers, but they chose to stay. Trust me, there were more than 36 offers put out there. They tried to raid basically the entire company. I know multiple people that turned them down. So they know the numbers that were being thrown out there. So my assumption would be that they're saying, okay, well, if I was offered this, he's got to have at least been offered this.
Right.
And they're correct. Honestly, Panini is in this, that it is a massive surplus of people that they needed unless you planned on doing something like that immediately. Like, those are the type of people you hire out when you're really ramping up to go incredibly hard, which they had no reason to be doing at that time. So I actually agree with that part of the lawsuit. But in terms of the money, that's where I think they got those figures from. They look and say, okay, well, they offered me this. They've got to be offering them at least, even if it's half, it's probably still absurd amounts of money, because I know how some of them, I don't know the exact amount, but I do know a lot of people that moved over, a lot of those 36 that I've talked to, and they're very, very happy, and they got a massive pay increase. I know.
No, exactly. Now we also heard rumors earlier in the year about, Fanatics making threats to these employees that if they didn't come over, they'd never work in the industry again, and and things like that. So I didn't see that mentioned in in any of the documentation, but what I did see mentioned, which was very interesting, was that Panini is accusing Fanatics of luring these employees away, paying me all this money specifically to trigger the management change clause in some of those contracts in order to get certain entities out of the contracts early.
Exactly.
And if that is the case,
yeah,
that is going to be a major problem for Fanatics, because that is highly illegal.
Yes.
Yes, they refer to that in the legal world as tortious interference.
Yeah. They don't like it.
No. They don't like that. Courts do
Penalties
not like
are
that.
pretty severe on that. If that in any way is true, and that gets, if this does go through the courts, which it's looking like it will. I think now that there's just knowing Michael Rubin the way I do, and knowing the people in charge at Panini the way I do, and knowing where their relationship is right now, I see this going to court. If they can prove that, that's a big one.
That is going to be a big one. Because the courts do not like that.
No.
The Federal Trade Commission does not like that.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things if that is proven in court, that is going to be a massive problem for Fanatics, and it is going to be potentially a game changer as it comes, down to contracts changing hands and and things like that.
So
that's going to be bad.
No, it definitely is. So another part of this lawsuit, as we said, we're going to break down all these parts. Another part that I wanted to touch on was that they also talk about the printing and the printing press. GCP, it's a Texas-based company that, if a lot of you don't know, but Cardamundi and GCP were they basically print all the cards, for everything in the world. Lots of other stuff too, board games, things like that. Now, the companies do have private presses, like Panini has a private one in Florida for their instant cards and things like that. Topps had one. I don't know who they're using now, but they did have a private one for Topps now, and things like that. But now, Fanatics owns the printing company. Well, they're accusing Topps of basically shutting down the presses and having the capability to shut the presses down at any point in time for Panini's cards. Because right now they control the production, and Panini's still having their cards printed there. And it says in November 2021, now this is a quote, before Fanatics acquired control of GCP told Panini it would have capacity to produce 297 million packs in 2022 and 336 in 2023. But when Fanatics acquired control over GCP, everything changed. And after acquiring control of Fanatics, Michael Rubin told Panini CEO Mark Warsop that Fanatics could turn off these machines devoted to Panini whenever it wanted, and from time to time, Fanatics has done just that. And that is put in the complaint by Panini. And I will tell you right now, by the people that I know at Panini, this is true. Now, whether they can prove it, whether they're able to prove it in court or not, completely different story. Normally, I will say I'm speculating. We talk about this all the time. We'll preface things. I know this is happening. I know people in product development. I know people that work on the ground floor. I know a lot of people that work there. This is happening.
So this goes down to another again tortious interference
Yep.
aspect of things, because Panini had a contract with the printer.
Exactly.
And even though Fanatics purchased that printer, they still need to honor the terms of the contract until the end of said contract.
Exactly.
Now, that that again is a major problem for Fanatics.
Yep.
And that also goes to the reasoning as to why they bought the printer in the first place. Was it because they just wanted to have the in-house printing capabilities for everything?
Well, that's one thing. That's the reason. That's a reason.
That is a reason. But there could be another reason.
Oh,
because the timing of when they purchased the printer was right at the same time that they made their first shot at buying Panini.
Yep.
And Panini said, "Go pound sand."
It was actually the exact same month.
Yes. So the question is, okay, well, if this company does 90% of their printing, if they don't have access to this company anymore,
and we have access to be able to shut it off whenever we want.
Now, here's the other thing, and this really isn't necessarily lawsuit related, but sometimes in lawsuits, very interesting tidbits of information do come to light.
Yeah.
And what I'm looking at is 297 million packs in 2022.
Yeah.
336 million packs in 2023. So for all of the people that, because again, Panini does not put pack odds on hits out, so I can't go back and reverse engineer the print runs on things. But now we kind of know how much printing has actually been done here, and all the people that are speculating that all this stuff's overprinted and and things like that. Hey, guess what? I mean, we knew this to be the case, but now we got official confirmation. Hey, you were right.
Yeah.
That is an insane amount of packs.
Now, granted, it is across their entire product line, and I don't know if that includes stickers too.
Well, no, that's not across their entire product line, because you've got certain cards that are produced at Cardamundi. You've got certain cards that are packed out in-house, like National Treasures in a
no, I meant across all sports, not like
all sports.
sport,
Yes, it's all sports, but that doesn't change the fact that if you 336 million packs.
It's an insane amount. It's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, but we all knew this anyway. I mean, that's something we all knew.
Yeah, but this is finally something that proves it.
Right. Oh, that's what did we say when all this came out? A couple months ago, we said it'd be quiet for a few months and then a lot of stuff would start to come out. We thought we'd have to wait for Discovery, but now we're just getting a straight up dogfight. Thank God.
Oh yeah. And when Discovery, oh God, I can't wait to see when Discovery.
No, Discovery is going to be great. I can't wait for that. That's actually going to be fun to cover. But so let's keep unpacking this, because like I said, there's so much to this.
Yep.
They go on in the lawsuit to target the rookie cards. And this is where we talked a lot about CJ Stroud last week, with the Stroud, Levis, and Bryce Young situation. They say rookie cards are especially sought out by consumers, but because of Fanatics' conduct, these rookie cards simply won't exist for consumers to buy for the next 2 or 3 years during the remaining terms of Panini's licenses. And Panini claims they strong-arm players by saying Panini would not be around and would soon be out of the card game, and threaten players that if they did not immediately sign with Fanatics, they would never get an autograph deal in the future when Fanatics' long-term exclusive deals began.
Now, that's just dirty.
Yeah.
That's just dirty.
If that's that, I mean, I want to know. I don't think they would put this in a lawsuit if they didn't have some type of way to prove this or anything. You would think text messages and conversations would easily be able to prove this, but if that's true too, I mean, this is getting out of control.
Yeah.
if this stuff is true.
Now, I'm not entirely sure the legality of it, if it were just autographs, not card related or anything like that.
Yeah.
If it were, if Fanatics approached a player and said, "Hey, look, we're going to have the license in 2 years or 3 years, depending on the sport, and if you don't sign an exclusive autograph agreement with us now, like this is your only chance. We're not going to give you an autograph agreement later."
Yeah.
I don't know the legality behind that. But what they were, all of a sudden accusing, telling these players that, Panini's going to be bankrupt in a couple of years, or, bankrupt shortly, or they're going to be out of the game. And,
Yeah.
if you because of that, if you sign with them and not an exclusive with us, then you're basically done. That's the part where you get into that, that legal area where it's like, okay, you're telling them if they, basically you're trying to get them to avoid signing a deal with Panini.
Yes.
By making accusations and, it really, you're doing it just to hurt Panini's product.
Yeah. Now, granted, this is all in relation to autographs only, which is still a massive deal. I mean, look at the CJ Stroud autos we talked about last week. So there's not going to be any of those. So, and no autos of the big guys in any of Panini, but they will have their rookie cards, at least as of now. We don't know what's going to happen with the NFLPA part of the lawsuit.
Yep.
Panini won it for now. So it looks like we're going to get at least most products out this year. Hopefully it can extend past Prism and everything. Who knows? But at least for now, you're going to continue to get rookie cards. But if Fanatics continues signing away, if they sign Caleb Williams, they haven't already, get Caleb Williams to sign an exclusive, people like that, it's just going to get out of control. Marvin Harrison Jr., people like that are coming out. If they start taking them as well, and every single year the autographs aren't in there, at least for these next two, I think Fanatics would be smart not to sign anyone right now because a lot of this stuff is like, why would you put this in if you didn't think you could prove at least most of it? Because if you can't, then you come off looking like fools. And a lot of what Fanatics is accusing you of, it looks like they feel like they could possibly prove. So this seems to be a big response saying, okay, well, we can prove all this. I hope you can prove some of it, but this is,
well, I don't think if they didn't,
one, because
so here's the thing. So
I don't affecting sales. This would be a massive one that would directly be affecting their ability to sell product and hurting collectors massively in the process.
So I think Panini should be able to prove the vast majority, if not all, of what they put in the complaint, because they would not have been able to put it in the complaint if they can't prove it.
That's what
it's, it goes down to that same adage, in the legal world about a lawyer not asking a question that he doesn't already know the answer to.
Yep.
If they were to put something like that in the complaint that they didn't already have at least some proof of prior to discovery,
right?
It, now all of a sudden, if none of it was provable right now until they, until they entered the discovery phase, a judge is going to look at them and say, okay,
they're going to laugh them out.
Yeah, you're fishing here.
Yes.
And they're gonna toss the suit. So I've got a good feeling that Panini has a lot of proof.
I agree, and I mean we've talked plenty of times before about how great Panini's legal team is and how they've got some really good minds on that legal team. I don't see them putting that stuff out unless they feel like they're able to prove it on their end, which if so makes this stuff and everything in this 96-page agreement pretty insane. We knew the stuff that when the mint came down and everything and all that, we knew a lot of, I know for a fact some dinners were highly illegal, but whatever. Feel free to subpoena me. I'll talk to you all about it.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm
You
not
don't want
gonna
that.
say it on the show. But if you're listening and you need to, then come on down. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that took place there that started it all off, kicked off all of this. But Panini also at the end, which I thought was very interesting, they pointed, Fanatics attacked Panini about lack of innovation,
Yep.
inferior product, all this stuff. Panini shot back hard. They amended complaint, took advantage some issues with recent production, highlighting the revelation that they created multiple cards of the 101 Superfractors of Bowman Chrome that we talked about last week, and the 96 card reduction from the pre-sale solicitations for update, which we talked about earlier on in the show. So this was written and amended all the way up until a couple of days ago.
So that is basically Panini telling Topps, hey, maybe instead of trying to, get all these contracts over earlier, you should focus on your own shit because you're screwing up a whole bunch.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even include all the cards that went missing during spring training.
Thank you. That is what I want to know. All right, we get all these pretty little stupid Topps apology letters every week, like we talked about at the beginning of the show. Where's anything? Where's any information? Why does Topps and Fanatics keep slipping this under the rug and thinking that we'll forget about it? We're talking, of course, about the cards that were stolen. We assume and basically have figured out they were taken from the Arizona Fall League when everyone was playing. They consist of Topps Chrome, Bowman Chrome, Draft. We've seen fakes that have already hit the market that have been graded and then decertified as being fakes. We've seen tons of these come out, and Topps has not addressed anything. And we're talking about full runs possibly of certain cards, as some have yet to appear for the players that we've seen that were taken out of them. And some of them were some very big cards.
Yeah.
Yet, for some reason, we talk about everything else. If we screw up on, duplicate superfractors, we'll put almost $1 million into it. But when it comes to these cards that are missing that affect multiple product lines, some that haven't been released yet, we're just going to keep quiet.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Come on.
Because I mean, look, it's what they do.
It's ridiculous, and it needs to be something that a lot of people in the hobby demand answers to.
Yeah.
Because some of these cards still have not surfaced in the colors that were shown on the leaked pictures on a Reddit thread. The thread was up for about 2 minutes, and then it was pulled down, but luckily someone got a screenshot of it. We have those images. We kept it. I've kept and followed this through the whole thing. There's cards that were there in Topps Chrome that have not hit the secondary market. There's from Bowman Chrome that haven't hit the secondary market. There's some from Bowman Draft we haven't seen yet. And the only ones that we have seen have been fakes. So this is the type of stuff that needs to be addressed heavily, yet they'll just sweep it under the rug yet again and make a stupid apology and an excuse all rolled into one for another mix-up or screw-up.
So the only reason
joke,
the only reason why they may be keeping quiet about this is if there's some sort of law enforcement investigation that's going on behind it. They may have been told to keep quiet about it. And if that's the case, then okay. But once it all plays out, you need to come out and talk about it, and you need to say, and and show the email from whatever detective or agent is working on it, telling you
that you can't say,
do not say anything about this while this is ongoing.
No, because
if that all comes out, and that's the case, then fine,
right,
cool, we're good.
Yeah.
But if that's not the case,
and you've been just ignoring this, that's bullshit. Because like we talked about earlier, this could come down to the actual reps that are handling the cards to have them signed in person and being dirty, because that's really the only way that this could have happened. And so we're talking about a serious flaw in the autograph authenticity process, which is one of the most important processes in the manufacturing and distribution of cards in the hobby these days.
That is
This is the type of stuff that has to be addressed.
That is the integrity of the product.
Yes. Yes.
Once you lose the integrity of the product, you're done.
Yeah. And like I said, this runs multiple product lines. Bowman Chrome, Bowman Draft, Topps Chrome. I mean, it runs a gamut of I think there was a Mega in there. Runs a gamut of everything.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, so I've been asked many times over the years about people not involved in the hobby, how do you know that the autograph that you pull out of the pack is real?
Yeah.
And my answer has always been, because if it turns out that it's not real, that the market will absolutely destroy that company. They won't be in business for very long.
Right. Yeah.
So, and this goes straight to that, especially with the fakes that are out now. And we know there's, the occasional athlete that keeps a couple of their cards.
Oh yeah.
But we're not talking about, we're not talking about somebody who's, just popped off like, I think I'm going to keep one gold, 10 or 15 base, and or whatever
Mac
the case
Ryder, or AKA Mac Cardona, Giannis. I could keep going, but
but this is entire runs.
Yes.
Of the product,
oranges, golds, like big stuff. Big
where
stuff.
Where we would have seen in the products that have been released so far, we would have seen at least one come out of a pack.
And the only ones we've seen are the fakes.
Exactly. So, and the fakes, these are the ones, like, they didn't even make it to the athletes, because clearly if the athlete had signed it and the guy, and whoever it was took it later, they wouldn't be fake.
No.
The autos would pass. They'd be real.
Yeah.
But in this case, is it now? But it also puts an onus on the grading companies too, to make sure that all of these autographs are legit, because with so many fakes that are out there, typically
the ones that were graded were done through BGS. There were two of them. They were Nelson Rada, I believe. One was an orange, and the other, I can't remember the color. I want to say a gold or a gold wave, but both have been decertified since then and proven.
Right. Now, here's the thing. The grading companies in the past, if you sent in a pack pulled autograph from, usually it's like 2000 and newer, they don't put that through the authentication process. But now, with the products that have been affected, basically 2023 Bowman products, 2023 Topps Chrome, they're going to have to start putting all of those autographs through the authentication process as part of this. And what's that going to do to companies like, obviously, BGS and PSA, they have their own in-house authentication. What's that going to do to SGC, CSG, TAG, companies that don't have authentication?
Right. Yeah. Well, we will find out, hopefully, and hopefully we find out what happens to these cards and what happened in this situation, because, like I said, this affects everyone. I mean, people are buying into draft spots to pull these cards, to pull these players. These are first Bowmans. These are rookies. These are the top key cards and products that people are paying money to chase, and they could not even be in the product. And, that type of stuff is a major problem. And like I said, it all boils down to the actual autograph authenticity part, which is where it gets very dangerous, and why, look, I appreciate, telling everyone that you're screwing them out of 96 cards in update. I appreciate you apologizing that you screwed up all the duplicate supers and decided to pay everybody and buy everybody out. That's great. Now let's address some real serious issues. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
hey, on the bright side, at least we know the Tom Brady autos coming out of draft are going to be real.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, at least we know those are real. At least we know those are real. But Scott, I think that's probably a good time to wrap up the show. What do you think?
I would agree.
All right. Well, thank you guys. That is going to do it for episode 202 of Let Me Get That Potograph. Of course, I want to thank our awesome sponsors, Zion Cases, Denver Card Shows, Slab Strong, Show Your Slabs, Treasure Hunter Sports Cards, Game Time Sports Cards, and of course, stand-up displays. Could not do the show without you guys. Of course, we are live every single episode on YouTube where you can ask your questions and make comments, and we'll address them during the break and at the end of the show. Hobby Hotline every single Saturday. I'll be on here in a couple of weeks, 11 a.m. on Bench Clear Media. Got a lot of really cool stuff for you guys coming. Some really neat stuff on socials. A couple giveaways that Zion just gave me coming up here in the future. So be on the lookout for those. But until next week, guys, you know the deal. Keep ripping those packs, pulling those hits. We'll talk to you then. Peace. All right. What is up, everybody on YouTube? Thank you for tuning in. We had a lot of people on today. Greatly appreciate that. But this is the end of the show. So if there's any questions, comments, anything like that you guys would like to address or anything, let us know. See, Christopher Brown said one thing. Let's see. Yes, Dion's son could declare. And hey, for a little Bowman segment, I've been wanting to talk Bowman U for a while. Bowman U's out with Shador and Marvin Harrison junior autos in them. And dude, have you seen the prices of this stuff?
I think they're overhyped.
Dude, they're going through the roof.
I understand,
overhyped.
I think they are very, very overhyped because if you look, they had a great first couple of games.
Yeah.
And yeah, they beat TCU, great. But then they got their
Shador
asses handed to them.
Okay, well, Shador maybe, but Travis Hunter, I think, is legit. I think he's the real deal. Marvin Harrison Jr., I think, is the real deal.
I'm strictly talking about Shador.
Okay, well, his refractor auto is selling for over $400 raw right now. A gold shimmer non-auto of Travis Hunter sold for $100, which I think is low. But there's a lot of big stuff in Bowman U right now. The Bowman U football is, at least for a short-term investment, possible long-term, I think is loaded this year and something that I would dive after. And some breaking news here that I just saw 3 hours ago, just pulled. The Ethan Salas Super has been pulled.
Okay.
The Super Auto. Yeah.
There we go. So I want to get back because Daniel had a good comment here. I'm going to put that one up here. So Upper Deck going to pull a Bowman out of the Tiger Woods Young Guns because he never had one. That would be awesome. Now, and Upper Deck has been known to do that. They did the retro Young Guns in hockey a couple of years ago. And then somebody mentioned Arnold Palmer. Oh, yeah, Jim in Florida mentioned Arnold Palmer. There we go. Like the first, that would be an awesome one to have,
too. That would be killer. I'd love it.
I'd love to see a Payne Stewart.
Yeah. Dude, give me Greg Norman. Give me freaking Sergio Garcia. Like, give me a retro Young Gun set.
Yeah, that would actually be really cool.
With the lack of, like we were talking about, with the lack of, because golf's so different. Like being a rookie in golf and being at the top of the sport is just crazy, and you're not really hyped as a rookie in golf. Now, maybe as the hobby changes, maybe that kind of people start paying attention, but I don't know. It's just a different type of sport. With that being said, those Young Guns are going to take probably 5-10 years before you figure out if they're worth something or not. But doing retro, that gives people something that they can chase and be like, oh, this is awesome.
Now here's the other side of the coin too with golf. So because like every once in a while you have a really highly touted amateur player.
Yeah.
And they're usually college players that get invited to, play in a tournament like US Open or something like that. And with the NIL licensing deals, you can include them in there too.
That's true.
So I'm curious to see, obviously you probably can't make it a Young Gun, but you can, you can do something with that, and it's okay now.
Yeah.
Where in the past you weren't, they weren't able to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see what Upper Deck's going to do with that product, and will they come out with a, obviously flagship with Upper Deck is paper, but they do have, O-Pee-Chee Premier, where they can do a chromium type product, and do that for golf too.
Allure. I'd love to see Allure golf. That'd be awesome. Some seismic golds and stuff like that. I'd love to see that. I think it would be awesome, but I like to see them move more into the golf realm, and so it'll be cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, I guess we'll wrap the show up there. Thank you so much for watching on YouTube. Remember, we stream every single episode live, just like this for you guys. And make sure to leave any questions, comments, topics you'd like us to discuss, anything in the comments. Please make sure to hit that subscribe and that little bell and all that shit that everyone else tells you to hit, because it would help us out a lot. And of course, if you want to listen to the audio version as well, it's available on all podcast platforms. And check out our socials, LGTP podcast on all of them, or just type in LEMME or Podograph, and you'll find us pretty quickly. But Scott, man, always a pleasure.
Yep. It's been a good week, and we'll be back next week with all sorts of fun stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Answer some questions and do what we do.
There you go. Well, thanks, guys, for tuning in live on YouTube, and we will see you guys next week. Peace out, y'all.